To win a £1 million, 3 players must stay hidden for a full hour, while more than a dozen elite FBI hunters sweep every inch of the area. Whoever survives until the end walks away with the £1 million. Player 1, Ethan, hired a top-tier Hollywood makeup artist for one sole purpose: to make his face disappear into the dirt. He picked an unremarkable dirt slope on the hillside, lay down along the gradient, and had himself buried completely. Then he scattered dead branches and fallen leaves over his body and stuck a few tufts of grass on top. From a distance, he looked like nothing more than a tiny dirt mound that no one would spare a second glance. No flaws visible at all, but this trick had a deadly downside. He could barely move a muscle. Even a slightly heavy breath or a rise of his chest would make the soil above him twitch. Player 2, Ryan, had a refreshingly simple mindset. He dismissed flashy tactics and clung to one belief: the most ordinary objects are the easiest to overlook. He built a sturdy, plain wooden crate, propped it casually against the villa's outer wall, and made it look like leftover logistics gear that the staff hadn't gotten around to stowing away. Then he climbed inside. What's more, the crate had no door, and even if someone lifted the lid to check, they wouldn't see his legs unless they craned their necks to look deep inside. That's because he'd already curled his legs up on a shelf near the top of the crate. Player 3, Marcus, constructed a floating, bush-shaped camouflage nest in the shallow marsh by the lake using planks, camouflage netting, and water weeds. He slipped into a wetsuit and climbed inside, and even sprayed himself with special doe urine to throw off sniffer dogs. Clearly, he'd done his homework before the game. As soon as the countdown ended, the blare of sirens jolted all 3 men's hearts. No matter how confident they'd been moments earlier, a wave of panic washed over them now. Nervous Marcus doused his wetsuit with a few more spritzes of the doe urine mixture, and the hunters immediately moved in. The federal captain stared at his tactical tablet to assign routes. He sent one team to patrol the lake, led another to circle around to the hillside, planning to sweep the entire high ground with drones, and ordered the rest to storm the villa directly. The villa team burst through the door in a sprint, ransacking every common hiding spot: wardrobes, underbeds, the attic, bathrooms. They combed the entire house from top to bottom in minutes, yet came up empty-handed. Never in a million years did they suspect that Ryan was huddled just behind them in that plain white crate, less than 2 meters away from the nearest officer. Inside the crate, Ryan's palms were soaked with sweat. He didn't dare even breathe heavily. The federal captain checked the security feeds and instantly sensed something was off. The house was spotless, not a single person in sight. He'd clearly been outsmarted. He immediately ordered a drone aerial sweep. After all, the preset hiding zone was limited to the villa, the surrounding hillside, and the lake. If the players weren't inside the house, they had to be hiding outdoors. On the hillside, the federal captain led his team forward slowly, practically walking right over Ethan's head. The fatal flaw of burying oneself in dirt? It leaves footprints. The seasoned captain quickly tracked the footprints to the general area, and even stood almost directly above Ethan. But he never could have imagined that someone would actually bury themselves alive in the soil. His team paced back and forth, debating where the player might be hiding, and completely missed the eyeless dirt mound right under their noses. Meanwhile, by the lake, Marcus watched the officers approach, and realized with a sinking feeling that they weren't bringing sniffer dogs at all. All that doe urine he'd sprayed was for nothing. The chatty player couldn't help muttering to himself, even letting out a few quiet curses now and then. His voice was soft, but on the still water, even the faintest rustle carried it to the passing officers. They followed the sound and quickly zeroed in on the suspicious-looking bush. A drone took off immediately, hovering above the foliage, and the footage was sent back to the command post. The captain spotted the flaw instantly. This was the only patch of green, lively bush on the water. All the other weeds had long turned yellow and withered. A group of officers waded into the lake, pulled apart the bush, and gave the frame of the camouflage nest a gentle tug. To their shock, the entire bush moved. Marcus panicked instantly, kicking wildly in the water, trying to escape with the nest. But the drone had already locked onto his position, and a small boat came speeding in from the side to cut him off. His legs, numb and cramping from the cold water, stood no chance against the boat's engine. After a few rounds of encirclement, he was pulled out of his hiding spot and eliminated on the spot. Still, Marcus's exposure had eaten up a huge chunk of the officer's time. Only 30 minutes remained until the game ended. Determined to defend the FBI's honor, the captain called in reinforcements. The new officers, equipped with more professional detection gear, swept every nook and cranny of the house again. Some climbed onto the roof, others dove into bushes, leaving no potential hiding spot unchecked. Yet they still found nothing. All that was left was the unassuming wooden crate, which hadn't been inspected thoroughly. The captain lifted one corner of the crate, and an officer knelt down to look, but didn't see Ryan's feet, assuming the crate was empty. Thanks to his clever setup, Ryan survived this round of searches, and even the cameraman broke out in a cold sweat watching the close call. The federal captain knew full well that at least 2 players were still at large. He led his team back to the hillside, convinced one of them was hiding there. They circled the area for another 10 minutes. The captain even suspected the rocks were fake and flipped over every stone in sight, but came up empty. With just over 4 minutes left on the clock, he had no choice but to abandon the hillside search for the time being. Unwilling to concede, the captain decided to go after the other target first, ordering his team to restart the search from scratch, and the white wooden crate was now their top priority. After all, the mattress next to it was clearly too small to hide a person, so the crate was the only option left. Several officers lifted the crate high together, shining their flashlights inside in unison. This time, they finally spotted Ryan's numb, stiff legs. The second player was eliminated, leaving only Ethan, buried in the dirt, in the game. All officers' attention finally turned back to the small hillside, but they still couldn't find any trace of Ethan. The captain paced back and forth in frustration, but the show's 1-hour time limit was quickly up. Even though the game had ended, the captain refused to accept defeat, pacing the hillside and refusing to let the production team reveal the answer. He was certain the target was right under his nose, yet he couldn't spot the trick. He had the drone scan the area from every angle, and even replayed the footage frame by frame, but still found no clues. It wasn't until 10 minutes later, with a hint from the cameraman's lens, that the captain finally spotted the face hidden beneath the soil. In the end, he could only offer an awkward but polite smile and congratulate Ethan on winning the £1 million prize.